Hi guys! In today's video we'll be making this doll inspired by Cruella de Vil. She was one of the most requested characters that you guys wanted to see a repaint of, so I really hope you enjoy. Some of you suggested that I did an entire series inspired by Disney villains, so if there's any other Disney characters or villains you'd like to see, leave them in the comments below. Again, I chose to work on a Monste High doll just because I find it fun not to make a completely literal interpretation but more a almost fan art inspired by the character, so I worked on this clear denial. I bought this doll second hand, so I can't tell you which model it is. It was in really good condition, except the hair was kind of greasy, so I'll be removing this. I carefully removed the head from the body and cut away all the hair. Even though half of her hair is black, I cut away all of it because the white hair I was going to use wouldn't match the texture of the existing hair. Once all the hair was gone, I used some Acetone nail polish remover to remove the face. Give the face a wash, then prime it with the Mr. Super Clear spray, and I then use my watercolor pencils and chalk pastels for the repaint. I started by sketching out the eyes, which is kinda hard because the eye shape of Cruella doesn't really fit this face sculpt, so I couldn't make the eyes as big as the actual character has them, so I made them slightly smaller but trying to keep them in the same spirit. Once I had the eye sketch on there, I went in with some light colored chalk pastel in a white and a skin tone to kind of lighten the skin. I did this because the original doll has a very healthy skin tone and Cruella doesn't. She looks very pale and almost grey. Once you have an even layer of pastel down, you want to seal it in with the Mr. Super Clear spray again, and then you can work on top, repeating this until you have the desired skin tone. After that, I start building on top of the colors on the eyes using my pencils. I didn't make the eyebrows quite as dramatic as Cruella's, simply because it would look weird on this face sculpt, so I toned them down a little bit, but still giving them a good arch to keep it kind of villain-like. I use brown chalk pastel to contour the face, especially the cheekbones. I also added green pastel to the crease area of the eyes to sort of be eyeshadow. I added a tiny bit of pink for blush on the cheeks, but not too much, and then used the white chalk pastel to highlight the face. Once you can't build up the colors anymore and want to save your progress, give it another spray. I keep building up my layers and going over the same areas until I'm happy with the colors. To get more opaque colors, I use the watercolor effect of my pencils, for instance for the eye whites and the refraction of the eye. After adding some slightly harsher highlights using the white pencil straight on the skin, I seal in the doll for the last time and let it dry. I used acrylic paint to map out the two different areas of the hair just as a basic guideline, but also to make sure the hair would look completely opaque. I'll be using this viscose doll hair, which I get off eBay. I really like it because it's really soft and smooth and shiny. And I chose to glue it straight onto the head because it saves me time. If you want to reroute, just go ahead and do that. Once all the hair is on, trim it to your desired length. Then I glued on some doll eyelashes before glazing the eyes and lips. Add some pearls to the ears for earrings, and then the head is done. Moving on to the body, I sprayed it with Mr. Super Clear just as the face, so I could use the pastels to lighten up the upper body to match the face better. Then I used acrylic paint to paint out the gloves. When you're done, seal the body with the spray. Now let's put some clothes on her. To make her dress, I'll be using this little bodysuit she came in by picking it apart and using it to make my pattern. I cut away the seam allowance that is already there so I can add my own later, and also cut away the bottom of the suit. And this is what we're left with. Now you can trace these pieces onto paper so we can make our pattern. Once you got the body part sketched out, you want to elongate the pattern as how long you want the dress to be, and then sketch out the sides. Draw on the straps, then fold the pattern in half and cut it out so it's symmetrical. Make the pattern for the back the same way. I split it in two. Now pick out your fabric. I chose a slightly shiny one with a bit of stretch. Trace your pattern pieces onto the fabric and add in seam allowance, then cut it out. Take in the two back pieces, sew them together like so. Then I chose to hem the neckline and also the armholes. Normally when you sew real clothes you do this at the end, but I chose to do it now so I could do it on my sewing machine. I also hemmed the edges of the armhole and neckline on the front piece before sewing the front piece to the back piece. I'll leave a bit on the bottom unsewn so I can have a slit in the dress. Then you can hem the bottom edge and sew together the straps at the top. Then turn the dress right sides out and try it on the doll. Now you can close up the dress using either a piece of velcro or some buttons, and then the dress is ready. To make the pattern for the fur coat, I sketch onto a piece of paper around the doll. Use this to cut out a big piece for the back with a high neckline and 2 half pieces for the front with a slightly lower neckline. Also add seam allowance. To make the sleeve pattern, you want to measure the length on the arm from going from the shoulder and also how big you want the sleeve to be at the end. I use this white fake fluffy fur fabric and then cut out the pieces. Sew the pieces together by the shoulders, right sides together before sewing on the sleeves. Fold it and then sew down the sides. And here's our basic fur coat. I'll be adding some red lining, so I use some red cotton fabric, cut out the same basic pieces as before and then sew them together. Fold up all the edges so it looks nice and neat, and then pin it to the inside of the coat. Then sew it in place. I only added the lining to the very end of the sleeves to reduce the bulk inside of them, but you can skip it completely if you want to. As a final touch, I cut out a collar and sewed this to the neckline. And that's the coat done. For the shoes, I repurposed an old pair of Draculaura shoes by cutting away the top, painting them with acrylic paint and then sealing them in with Mod Podge. Now all that's left to do is assemble the doll, and then we're done. And here's our finished Cruella de Vil doll. I really hope you enjoyed my interpretation of the character, because I had a lot of fun making her. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in a new one real soon. Bye!